Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. Things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and medications are hard to pronounce, so please bear with me. Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready.
Confused with partner seizures. Clarification, he's 38, has an appointment lined up with a second neurologist on the same family doctor. I see this as an epilepsy account, and I'm just asking for general knowledge, stories, or help. He has tonic-clonic seizures, and they're always during his sleep. He has 7 in the past 5 nights. Twice he has had 2 one day. Still sleeping though. After the first 2 to the ER, put him on Keppra. He had an EEG and a neurologist. I'm sorry, someone called. I don't know who that is. Okay, I'm sorry. It said he had an EEG on it, and the neurologist said he didn't have epilepsy. He came off the meds. From what I've read, came off fast, but it was the doctor's recommendation and had another seizure. He starts the meds again to go off this time slower. Again, docs recommended. Come off another 2 seizures in one day, and another the following morning. Start the meds again. Same thing, another EEG, and the same doctor clears him. No epilepsy. Comes off meds again and immediately shows symptoms during his sleep. And a day later, has another seizure in the morning. Could most of these be medication related or causing more seizures? Still underlying reason for the seizures, but are they always going to be nocturnal? He didn't fall asleep in the short amount of time on the EEG. Could that be really determinant? Most of the doctors basically say he's all right, and I know he's not. More info. He often does this excessive swallowing and licking of the lips. Is he showing signs? He breaks out in a sweat and then chills very quickly after. I said small pieces till he can't break them any longer. Beneficial because he doesn't know how much he's taking, but he's coming off. Does it matter? I'm mostly extra concerned about now as I leave for a month to another country, and can stop him from having seizures in his sleep very randomly. Thanks. There was a lot of questions in there. Whole lot of questions. Did anybody catch even one?
This is the right place.
From what I heard, it definitely sounds like a seizure. The lip smacking and licking the lips, that could definitely be a partial.
Yeah.
Sounds like partials and maybe the wrong medication that's not holding it right, you know. Like I know when I first got on, when I was first starting having seizures, they put me on Dilantin, and I was still having seizures, so they had to get me onto Tegatrol to start controlling them.
I laughed when I was reading that because it says he does this excessive swallowing and licking lips. And at that time, I was just thinking, swallow and lick my lips real quick. Lips feeling dry, but not sure if that's a seizure or not. Mouth is always watering for some reason, and I don't take Keppra like him. But the first comment says, unless he's having a seizure while hooked up to the EEG and the EEG is normal, he can still have epilepsy. Lots of people with epilepsy have normal EEGs, and if possible, you should see an epileptologist, a specialized neurologist. The fact that the seizure medication seems to help implies that he has epilepsy, not psychogenic seizures. Another person said, get a camera and ask them what's happening. Brains are evil, tricky beasts. Evil, tricky beasts. Jamis Vu. I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is. So technically, my doctors ruled out epilepsy as a cause for my symptoms, but I still have Jamis flu up to 12 times a day, and I know that Jamis flu is a common symptom of epilepsy, so I figured this was the best place to come for this. Most of the times, it's not so bad. I've been getting it for about 2 years now, so I'm pretty desensitized to the milder episodes, but sometimes it's really, really strong and I need a few minutes to recover. Those really, really strong ones make me feel like I physically left my body for a few seconds and can be kind of, for the lack of better words, stressful. Those of you who experience Jamis flu with your episode, what helps you deal with it?
They're saying Jamis flu is the opposite of deja vu. So a familiar experience suddenly feels unfamiliar.
Okay.
I would call it confusion. Sometimes when I come back and I'm in a place that I've been a bunch of times before, I definitely feel lost.
Um,
I have a quick
That-
question. What is I heard what you explained it as, but that's still confusing me for some reason.
I mean, deja vu, I guess, is if you have the seizure at home, you wake up and you're like, okay, wait, I think I know where I am. This is a familiar place. And they're saying Jamis flu is the opposite, where you come back and you don't know where you are. Where is this place?
Oh,
And I wouldn't say I have full-blown Jamis flu, but I'm confused as far as like, why am I in this room? I don't remember walking in here or something like that. But I don't think that's what the person who posted was talking about, because I've heard Toaster and a couple other um universe people say that they actually have Jamis flu and it's like actually being totally lost, not knowing where you are.
I thought that was temp. Okay, yeah, that's some. Well, now I know what that was. I totally did not know.
Thank you. I'll go through some comments here. First one says, how did they rule out epilepsy? It's pretty difficult to rule it out. And then the other person responded, EEG, when it's epilepsy, the brain waves show electrical something. That's how they explained it to me. Another person responded, a normal EEG does not rule out epilepsy. The only way to rule it out is to prove definitely that it's something else, usually with a detailed history and or long-term continuous video EEG monitoring, where you have one of the typical events and the EEG shows nothing. I've had two normal short EEGs and one 5-day EEG with no seizure events, but there were some sharp waves in my right temporal lobe while I was awake and asleep, and the location of my brain that correlates with the history of my personal video footage of my nocturnal seizures. So they just sent me home and told me to keep taking my meds. Diagnosis of epilepsy, not ruled out by a normal EEG. You should maybe consider a second option. And yeah, that's good one. This might refer to me. It says, hi, I'm a 22-year-old female. Really new to epilepsy. On start at 20 years old, but I notably have a lot of absent seizures. My wife has witnessed a lot of them and tells me it's like I just fall asleep, but it's recently I've got my full body still moves around almost subconsciously during them. I have no memory of moving there. And typically find myself not too far away from where I last remember. My last one was a few days ago while I was food shopping. I blinked and I found myself in a different aisle and it started at ice cream. My shopping cart was with me and was still gripping onto it. I felt like I gained consciousness while I was staring at it, and then took me a few seconds to start blinking and actually realize that I had just moved. It's really weird and disorientating, and honestly so scary. I have no memory of it. My family are very worried and scared about letting me walk outside alone in case I decide to cross a road when I'm not actually aware of myself. I want to know if this was something else others have experienced and how have you coped with it, kept yourself safe, I haven't been able to find any information about absence seizures, including a person still moving and having only been given examples of absences, making people stay stiff and still. Could this possibly be just issues with memory rather than seizure activity? This makes me think that I might have been having absent seizures because I was really absent when I was walking into people's houses.
And pouring that juice.
Oh yeah, I was real absent then. I don't know who was there, but I wasn't. And this sounds similar. I think I just talked to my doctor about this. I told him I was blacking out, but now I need to tell him those sound like absent seizures. I go through the comments one time. It says, what you are describing sounds very familiar to me. I'd say it was likely you're having absent seizures. I felt the same way in the past and question at the same things. What I do is try to figure out what time it typically seems to happen and when and where you have been and who have you been around during that time so that they can witness it happening. Then you'll know. Someone else said, only a neurologist can diagnose you truly. Are you on any medications? Those can make you funky too. I start straight up sleepwalking after I started on Zonogram. Anybody sleepwalk?
I did as a child. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, same here.
I think I did it as an adult, but I don't know if I was asleep. I think I just got up and left. I think I was wide awake. But yeah, that's scary. And he says, how do you cope? When I woke up places that I was not when I was the last time I remember, I don't think I was in panic. I was just confused. I was really confused. Like, like I said, I walked into somebody's house and I happened to follow him. I seen him and I was confused and I was just like, hey, let me follow this guy. I don't understand why, but when he opened the door and I just walked in, I don't know how confused I was. I just, for some reason, thought I was doing the right thing. He had a nice couch and I went in and laid down and did not understand I was still doing wrong. I'm still confused. Like something is wrong. And like, where am I? Yeah, so yeah, that can be scary. That's why I don't go places with my kids alone because I can still be looking like myself and they're just gonna follow me just because I'm dad and I could happen to go anywhere, could be the wrong or right places, just not myself. That's how I coach. Just don't take your kids anywhere. Don't go somewhere where you're possibly gonna hurt yourself.
Take
It
your
also
absent
doesn't work.
seizure medicine.
Yeah, it also didn't work because I also left home one time, so that was different. I've left home 2 times, I think. Yeah, so yeah, got to get it checked out, get a camera. Basic surveillance will work, and yeah. Angel, your
Okay.
lips are moving, but you're on mute. Oh, there you go.
My daughter's back, so I gotta go play with her.
All right, I'll see you later.
All right, later.
Bye, Angel.
Hold on, I want to show y'all to her.
So another comment says, I walked out of my house across the street and tried to go into my neighbor's house. I've also walked down the street before when I was postdictal, almost into oncoming traffic. Someone stopped me. Then I tried to fight them and had a tonic-clonic focal aware and absence seizure, TLE, with hippocampal sclerosis and focal cortical dysplasia. That's rough. Yeah, like me, I walked out of home and I went somewhere, and yeah, I was told I went somewhere, but I remember not even leaving. It's rough. Is it common not to wanting to talk about your epilepsy at all? My son's extremely reluctant to disclose to others that he has it and really hates talking about it. He's pretty outgoing, but anybody who asks him about his epilepsy, he gets very annoyed. I think it would help him meet other people who live with it through some kind of support group, but he refuses. I admire his courage and the way he hasn't let epilepsy take over his life, but I feel that's definitely not a good sign that he avoids so much sharing how he feels about it. It worries me that his attitude can mean troubles accepting his condition. When he was diagnosed a few years ago at age 12, he was super healthy and strong, active kid. He suddenly, from one moment to another, had all of us super scared, watching over him at all times. He was overwhelmed and entered denial, saying this was all stupid and I'm not taking my meds. He's past the phase now, but I feel he hasn't fully come to terms with it yet, with the fact that he has epilepsy. I want to respect his privacy and don't pressure him to open up, but my heart wrenches when I see his outbursts of frustration after having a seizure and only to return to his apparent emotional numbness the next day. I don't know anyone else with epilepsy, so I really tried. I really like to have your thoughts, experiences on this. Should I allow him some space and let him work through it himself, or should I try something else? It's so hard seeing him go through this and want you to help, but I don't know how. I was
I
thinking,
mean, I think that having like an actual conversation rather than just assuming things with him would probably go better. Because posting about your thoughts about how he's processing it is different than talking to him and asking him, how are you doing? Um, and that's something that I think a lot of people with epilepsy don't get to hear often is, how are you doing? Like actually, just not, how are your seizures and are you controlled or whatever. It's just, how are you doing? Um, so having a conversation with him would probably be a good way to start. And maybe he'll be honest, maybe he won't be, but that'll be a good starting point for you guys to start working towards maybe some better options for him as far as like help with social life and mental health and stuff like that.
yeah, I
If
was just
anything,
thinking,
that conversation, I was just gonna say that conversation would let him know that he always does have somebody to talk to in here to listen.
I say, well, he's 14 years old, so I said, give him a little space, give him some time. When he wants to, he'll come around. But forcing him to talk, he's going to keep having all outbursts, I think, being that he's so young. Yeah, I think being mom, you could ask him stuff when he's alone, it might help, but trying to force him to talk isn't going to work.
I mean, that's a rough age anyway for anyone. I wouldn't force anything. Yeah, like you said, and just use a light touch. Don't uh to definitely give this person some space and but certainly just be there for them if anything.
Yeah,
I know
an
that's big.
adolescent boy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's a tough age. Sorry. Go.
yeah, an adolescent boy is going through a lot on top of the epilepsy, and um I know that personally it wasn't necessarily an age that I processed things externally by discussing them. There was a lot that I kind of, you know, spent a lot of time alone just thinking, doing things, working on hobbies, but not necessarily out of depression. A lot of people associate isolation with depression. But I would just point out that if he's not like openly communicating and processing all of this stuff verbally and discussing it, that doesn't necessarily mean that he isn't processing it, or that he doesn't trust you. It's just a tough time for boys. And I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
if I could join in, I was just gonna say I want to yeah, agree with you there for sure, Mark. Just told you guys my hobbies are cross stitching and sewing and pocket watches. You know, it's a lot of, and mechanical stuff. It's a lot of spending time with myself, and it's not. I'm I'm happy. I mean, obviously, I'm bummed that I have seizures and I can't drive. A couple little things, but I'm still like an overall happy person. I'm not depressed. It's just because of my lifestyle and the things I like to do. I just happen to be doing them by myself, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure I could go out there and find, like groups of like people at like retirement homes or something that are like cross stitching or something to join in and find some other something like that. But I'm just cool with just being myself. It's not depression. It's just kind of how life has led you down your road. Like for me personally, like I said, I haven't been able to drive a vehicle for 15 years, so that kind of limits where I can the types of jobs I can have, or what relationship I can have, or not even what type of person I can date, but how far away they can live from me. Like it limits a lot of things, and it just kind of like funnels things down into being one just one person. You're with yourself, you get your own little things. And I don't know, you know I'm 39. I'm just kind of just where life has gotten me. I'm fine with it. It's what it is, right? I mean, there could be a lot worse things. Like we're all obviously sitting here on our electronic devices with roofs over our head, taking medications, having family members helping us out. Like things could be a way lot worse, for all of us, right? So you just got to pick and choose at like what good things to look at and pick up and take away from life is my view on it. At least I don't know how y'all feel, but that's my opinion.
Another good thing to add, maybe too, is that she is in full mom mode. Noticing every little thing that he's doing that's different. But as his mom, you have to keep in mind that this is not something that every child is going through. Um, and your son isn't gonna meet somebody right off the bat with epilepsy just by going out and trying. Like, he may not feel like he wants to do that right now. He may not feel like it's possible right now. I mean, hell, I was diagnosed in my 20s, and I didn't meet anybody for a full year that had it up until my husband met somebody while he was working. And I still wouldn't have been able to meet anybody until I found this group. But don't push him to be more social than he is, because just because he was a different kid before he got diagnosed does not mean he's going to be that same kid now. He has a whole lot more writing on him, and he's feeling a lot of different emotions, and boys notoriously do not feel emotions the way that women do. So don't expect him to act a certain way. He's going to do this his way.
And it's a lot tougher to find, or I guess to like meet or interact with somebody with our disability versus saying like, and I don't mean to disrespect this, but I'm just using this as an example, but saying somebody that's missing like a limb or a finger or something, like that's something visual. You can see that clearly and you instantly know that that person has that disability. Whereas, just right now, because who's on my screen is Sia here. I'm just going to use you as an example. Like, there's no other way that I would be talking to you right now if we hadn't been on this, group chat here, knowing that we already had epilepsy because we had already connected on Reddit and joined the Zoom group and all of that. Whereas with other, disabilities, you just see the person and you instantly know that, and then you can connect, a conversation. You don't know anybody has epilepsy unless you see it actually, happen in front of you. And that's incredibly rare, like really, or for me at least.
Well, yeah, it is true. A lot of people with epilepsy don't really find a common ground to just be like, oh yeah, I have epilepsy. And not everyone, especially even here, is like that. Um, and I'm definitely not like that. And when I'm out and about, I don't just go up to someone and say, I have seizures. No, it's not easy to
Yeah,
talk about.
exactly. If I go out and I, run some errands or grab a bite to eat or something, somebody might just be like, "Oh wow, you're riding a bike. Wow, you like exercise or great for the environment or blah blah blah." And I'm just like, No, I have no other choice but to ride this bike to get here." Then I might say something and like, well, this is why. But that's another thing too, at least for, my life situation, my age. Like I said, I'm 39. I'm back living again with my parents. It's not like the greatest pickup line to go out to somewhere and meet other people. So it's not, like if somebody's missing a limb or something, which for sure is true, but they get a lot of good for you, you're living with that, that's a great thing. Whereas I feel like with epilepsy, you lose your license, you have to have somebody with you all the time, you can't work certain jobs, you can't have certain relationships. It's more of like an, not embarrassing isn't the word, but something harder to kind of grasp or like connect with other people with versus certain other things. Did that sound, I hope that didn't come off as insensitive.
No, I mean, people with
No,
what we would call invisible disabilities, I think it's called. Um, and for this young man, it is going to be very different to process. And coming up, trying to think about how it was very difficult because with other people getting their licenses, that was um, that did make me angry. Um, that was one thing in particular I felt was very unfair. As a trying to become a young man, and uh, there were many challenges. Um, and yes, you you will have to talk to this person, and at times you will need to give him space. He will need to process things on his own. So yes, space will be needed. Yeah.
Hey, Jason,
hey Pookie.
how you doing today?
So yes, yeah. So I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm just sitting in my car just right now. It's just just like, but I should be home, but I just ate dinner at Culver's.
Nice. I haven't heard of that place yet, but what do they sell? I mean, what'd you eat?
I had like a butter burger. I ate a burger meal just with fries and just like, and then I just had a drink. So I mean I could take my medicine and stuff like that.
They
Okay.
just opened up a Culver's like right around the corner from my house, like a mile and a half, practically walking distance, and I haven't tried it yet. So I'm wondering, how would you rank it? Like your personal fast food burger places, where would you put it compared to like Mickey D's, BK, kind of Sonic, is it up there on top? Is it one of your favorites?
Yeah, it's up there on top. I would say like I would say like Culver is I'll say Culver is like pretty much like a I would say like a 9.2 out of 10.
That's very precise. I like that. That's You're a man who knows what he likes. Exactly what he likes.
Jason, the icebreaker today was, what's the most useful app in your phone? The most used app in your phone. Let's say that.
Mm.
App you need the most. Can't live without it.
Snapchat.
Snapchat. Okay. I haven't heard that one yet. That's a good one though. I can move to the next posting.
If I could drop in real quick, since I said I don't use any apps or anything, and I missed the first little part of the stream today. What what apps would you guys recommend? I guess like epilepsy related for me, for somebody who just like doesn't use any apps. What would something that would make my life a little more easier? I mean, I have alarms on my phone to remind me when to take my medication, but is there any certain thing that you guys keep track of? I just keep handwritten notes in a notebook of every time I have a seizure, to be honest.
The ladies have in particular showed me some stuff, but I don't know any of the guys and gave me no advice on apps. But Cade and Sia and yeah, Cade and Sia were the only one that told me about the apps. So yeah.
Okay.
Are you
Yeah,
familiar
it's the
with
most
RNS or
helpful.
name plans?
What was that? I didn't hear the
James,
first part.
have you heard about RNS or any implants in your future? Because one of those that I have, the RNS, is accompanied with a website called My Seizure Diary that has a really useful, detailed way of keeping track of seizures.
Okay, like you can like add in like what type or how long it was or stuff like that, you mean? Or
Exactly. It'll ask the possible causes or triggers and the recovery time and the length of the seizure and the specific type of seizure. Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
You could
maybe I should look into
try
that. 'Cause,
public transportation apps. I don't know how good that is in your area, public transportation, but I use those a lot.
it's a yeah, it's a pretty populated area. But like I mentioned, I have bikes. I've been a bike mechanic since I was in high school, so that's kind of my, it's not very expensive for me. I take care of my own stuff, and that's just how I've always gotten around, even in the rain. Once in a while, if it's just like terribly thunder, raining, everything, hail or whatever, maybe I'll grab an Uber or something. But even if it's raining, I just don't have a problem with riding a bike mostly. So but I do want to look into you had mentioned the other day about like the area parks or like the regional park passes and stuff. I do need to look into that.
Good.
That was helpful info. But yeah. So
Uh,
thank you guys. Thank you guys.
What do you say,
I
Mark?
don't, I would suggest, whatever form or app you choose to do it in, I would suggest, having a medication, slash vitamin supplement, whatever, uh, diary log, kind of in addition to or separate from the like a seizure event log because I have noticed recently I've started kind of putting two and two together a little bit. That recently a lot of the events that I've been having have been coming not immediately after a medication mix up, like missing a dose or something, but a day, 2 days, sometimes 3 days afterwards, I'll have something come up. Um, and I don't think that that association would have necessarily come up if I had only, I have a separate diary with each individual seizure event as well. But if I was just recording those separately, I don't think I ever would have noticed that I need to watch out, not necessarily on the day of um, noticing a missed dose, but I need to pay attention for the few days afterwards because the things might be on edge. So, um, just just my suggestion for you.
Okay, somebody's asking here about seizures while sleeping, dreams of electricity. I've been experiencing seizures while sleeping for some time now, started about 6 or 7 years ago. Stopped when I changed my meds from phenobarbital to valproic acid. It was just 3 or 4 seizures a year. I know 3 or 4 dreams a year, but now I'm having them again, sporadic. That's the third one this year. Normal woke seizure in February, all of them while taking the meds. Almost all the times I'm dreaming I'm getting electrocuted or dreaming I'm having a seizure. Wake up paralyzed, body in like a sleep paralysis, but it goes away very quickly. If anybody else can share a similar experience, that would be nice. Anybody else ever dream they're having a seizure and actually have one?
I usually don't
In the comments
remember
here.
like
Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I usually don't remember like 15 to 30 minutes before, during, or after them. Um, so yeah, definitely when I'm sleeping, I haven't felt that. I have had a few while sleeping. I've woken up on the floor a couple times out of my bed, even, but I don't remember a specific dream. I don't remember the seizure happening. I just kind of wake up and I'm like, why the F am I on my floor versus my mattress that I was on when I went to bed? type of reaction to those.
Yeah, so dreams could be a trigger for some people.
Yeah, I guess if a dream is scary enough, of course you can have like your heart racing and stuff, or getting chased by somebody, your heart racing, distress.
Have anyone here experienced that version? I forget the name of it, the French word for it. It's like deja vu, but instead of thinking that it's happened before, like thinking that you've dreamed the situation
Thomas Vu.
before. Jamais vu.
Yeah,
Uh, has
I
has
think.
any have anyone has anyone in our seizure group or anything? Do we know anyone who's felt that?
Um, my memory is bad, but I really think I heard Toaster say something like that.
I mean, if anyone would know the word for it off the top of their head, it would be toaster, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll have to ask her about that. I
I
sometimes
mean, my
get these flashbacks or something, like I can remember the dream that I had or something, or I think it's the dream that I had the night before. something like, and it always seems to happen, I guess, right around now. It's not happening now, just for the record, but you know, this brief, like, whoa, that memory was just the dream that I had. And normally I never remember anything about the dreams after, maybe 2 minutes at most. So I don't know. Is any dream recall things, weirdness?
I think so. I can't exactly remember the time, but I believe myself. I mean, I believe I've told myself that before. So just can't remember the exact occasion. But yeah, I've had a dream. I mean, a day that reminded me. Didn't I have a dream of this? Like dream come true type stuff. Um, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not
Sometimes
sure if I should
like
write it down in my notes at all or not.
I would.
Yeah. I don't want to freak out my neurologist. She already has enough ammunition.
I feel you there, man. I was gonna say sometimes, yeah, like once in a while get stuff mixed up, and people that are close to me, I'll be like, did I did I tell them, about this event, or did I tell them about this like fact, that I wanted to mention, or or was that while I was sleeping last night? Like, did I actually tell them? So sometimes I repeat things to people like 2 or 3 times, and they're like, dude, you already told me that shit. Like, you don't need to say it again. And then other
Yeah.
times, like a week will go by, and I could have sworn in my head that I told them that, and it's something I needed to tell them, and they're like, you didn't mention a word about it. So I do get stuff mixed up, but I don't know if it's actually like having the dream about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Someone once
See.
told me that he has false memories. So that sounds like maybe that's that. Like you remembered something and then you didn't actually do that. Um,
Yeah, like it's something I like happens in a dream, and I'm like, okay, that was for real, or vice versa. Like it happened in real life, and I'm like, no, that just happened in a dream, and that wasn't real. And
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it feels like that, and I know it's got to be the meds, man. It's like I'm not. I want to try and tell myself I'm not that stupid, right? Like,
Not stupid. It comes with the territory.
I know. I'm joking. We got to joke about this stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah. Jokes help you cope. So I got something new though. It says
Ooh.
10 years free comes back stronger than ever. Just to preface this, I had my first seizure or so around 10 and last tonic-clonic at 12. Every time I every time I had one was around Christmas, getting too excited and having too much sugar and staying up too late. I would get a seizure or at night and my tonic-clonic seizure would happen. Now, as an adult, I've been tonic-clonic seizure-free and even no seizure orders until the past 2 weeks. I'm 22 now. I believe it's been triggered by the stress, etc., from exams. But what confuses me is I've done so much worse for my health between that time. Never even got the slightest feeling because I thought I was free from this. I was diagnosed with benign Rolandic epilepsy. Every night, every night now, I get a seizure aura, even during the night. I got put back on Keppra. I was off since I was 16 and now on 1,000 milligrams, and this shit sucks to say the least. It's barely effective, and I get the side effects. I don't have an appointment with my neurologist until August 15th, but I really don't want to have a tonic-clonic again because number one, they make it more likely to happen again and again. Number two, it's painful and extremely scary to deal with, and it's as expensive as and very well as expensive. Number three, I really feel like driving. my question is, what do I do to mitigate or eliminate it again? I've never tried anything other than Keppra, but I was thinking of trying Vimpat or off meds or anything that I can. It sucks so bad that we have to deal with this, and I thought I could finally be free of it. If you have any idea what is going on, please, please, please comment. You can't act like this is gone. Once you got it, you got it. I'm not saying worry about it all day, but and don't worry about driving. If that's what
Well, it sounds like they're a very young person. I don't know, maybe did I they didn't say their actual age, did they?
yeah, you say 22.
22. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll stand by that very young person, 22. Frontal lobe isn't done developing, right? They say until 25. Um, so it's still, but I mean, first seizure at 10, last tonic-clonic at 12, off Keppra since 16. I mean, this is a pretty short timeline still, and it's a timeline over which the brain changes massively. So, the way it responded to medications then isn't necessarily going to be how it's responding now or how it will respond even just a few years from now. Um, I mean, I guess the good news is at some point, some people do grow out of juvenile epilepsy. And if their last tonic-clonic was at 12, oh wait, did they say they're having seizures now? Like big ones or something or
Yeah, they said they had a 10-year break with no seizures, and now he's having seizures and not wondering why, I guess, but yeah, just telling a story.
well, um, yeah, I guess then that sounds like they're one of the lifers. Um,
Had it for 10 years so far. I mean, 12 years so far, it sounds like. Yeah. Um, next one says consult with a neurologist in 2 days. What is that? What is it that I want to say to the neurologist? I know the fact I have TME, but misdiagnosed with generalized epilepsy, the feelings I'm going through, and many seizures, and the little many seizures that are distorting my time and perception of events are seriously scaring me. Last time I opened up, I I got called mentally ill, told it was just anxiety. As a child, when I opened up about these things, I was seeing and feelings that seem transcendental, transcendental.
Transcendental?
Yeah, I'm sorry, transcendental. I was just ignored by my pediatric neurologist. I guess I don't really have a good grasp on how to explain my seizures and my feelings. I get close, and there's something there stopping me. Could it be PTSD? Uh, I never had PTSD that I know of, but
Excuse me.
yeah, I don't exactly know what that is. I don't have TME or generalized epilepsy. I actually don't know what either of those are because I have epilepsy from brain trauma. So would that be considered generalized?
I think they just call it generalized when if you have tonic-clonics, because that's when like all of your brain is involved in the misfiring of neurons. Temporal lobe epilepsy is TLE, and that's a kind of focal seizure that originates in the temporal lobe of the brain. I think this is one of the ones that can be outgrown. They call it
Mhm. Did you have something to say, Mark?
Oh, what? Just say my name?
Say that again. Oh,
Yeah, Pookie, I found that picture I was talking about with my eye on my phone. I have no clue how to post it to Reddit, but if I could show it here, I don't know if y'all can see.
oh yeah, I can see
Oh,
that.
wow.
When
Yeah,
was
I
that?
think you may be able to see that. Yeah, there. So you can see on the very side the dried blood of it. How I couldn't open my eye. Yeah, my desk in my room has squared off uh corners to it. So I just have just felt completely face down, face first, right into it. I popped the lens out of my glasses. Um, I went to a hardware store and got, like the foam that you wrap around like your like pipes, like outside. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah,
your garden hose pipe or something like that. I got
I
that
know
and
what you're talking about.
I put that like on the edges of my furniture at home. I mean, like
Love that.
it's not gonna make a big difference, but it could at least help. And yeah, if nobody else has thought of that too, maybe something like, remember like the fun noodles, like the little things you would have like in the pool, like as a
Like
kid
these
or
corners
whatever,
are sharp.
like put that on the edges of stuff. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, dude. I'm looking at your desk. Yeah, exactly. I have like a pointy 90-degree angle,
I
just
never
like
even
that one,
thought of
man.
that.
Like put some sort of like rubber or foam cover or something. Like you never know where your body's gonna flop around or fall, or that's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened to me, and that's why I did that. And the only reason I kind of knew that was because, like I said, my lens was popped out of my glasses. My glasses were off my face. I was bleeding, so I had to have fallen and hit something sharp and hard, right? So
Yeah, that picture looks like you really hurt yourself. Did you go to the hospital?
yeah. I went. That was what I was the time I was talking about earlier. They ended up doing an X-ray, a CT scan, everything, and I had just a tiny little hairline fracture in my eye socket, right on the corner. Um, of it. So yeah, it took quite a while until I could like, fully open my eye back up, and any little like bump or like, up against it, even just like, like washing my hair in the shower or something, if I would accidentally, bump up against it for, a little bit, it, just gave me a quick little like sharp pain. It wasn't, like I said, that was my worst injury. I know you were talking about your arm with the falling in the fryer. I don't know if you saw my post about something similar at a restaurant too.
Yeah.
Yours is way worse, man, for sure. So yeah, I feel like mine ain't nothing compared to, yeah.
Yeah. It's just a little bruise. I'll post a picture of it. I'll post a picture of the raw meat. It was bad.
Yeah, I replied in the thread there on Reddit about it, but mine was, yeah, I was at a restaurant. I was cooking on the grill. There was a fryer next to it, and I got lucky and I fell backwards, thankfully. So I did hit my head pretty damn hard, but didn't fall in the fryer, didn't fall on the grill or burn myself. I just remember, cooking up some stuff. And then the next thing I remember, there's a family owned restaurant, so it was two brothers that owned it. I remember the two brothers standing over me and then two paramedics, and I was just like, oh fuck, what the hell? And then, I'm just kind of like, you're dazed and foggy out of it. And I look at one of the paramedics. I was like, oh man, I had a seizure, didn't I? He was like, oh, have you had them before? I'm like, this is like number 98. Yeah, man, I've had one. I know this is what happened. Like, I'm good. You guys are good. Thank you for being here. It
So
was it was it was 98 degrees that day, and I was working in a kitchen, so that may have contributed to it. It was a really busy day because it was like a weekend festival, so I wasn't keeping myself hydrated as much as I probably should have. So I'm sure that all led to it a little bit, but it was still, I was just like, yeah, I'm good. Don't take me to the hospital, at least for that specific time.
I got something else here. It says, do you carry anything that tells people what's happening if you have a seizure in public? Would love to get in autonomy back. So I'm wondering, what, if anything, people use to help other people understand if you're having a seizure in public on your own? Do you wear things? Is there a phone app that can help? Bracelet, necklace, etc. Much love, X. Recently diagnosed, I'm 33-year-old female, and I have had about 9 weeks of daily seizures, 1 to 3 minutes each, often clustered. Sleep deprived EEG confirmed focal epilepsy this week. I collapsed and lost vision. I do get an aura. I do get an aura before poor coordination, confusion, coordination decline, dread 2 to 30 minutes ahead of full zone out or collapse. Start Kepler today. I say you get a bracelet. I get a bracelet. Don't you got a bracelet too, Mark?
Yes, I got. Oh, hold on. I
And it's
went
gold and it
overkill.
doesn't mess
I
up
got
the
I
power. For some reason,
the
it says
bracelet with
Yep,
the contact information. I got those little clippies
yeah,
that
mine
just
says call my mom.
added onto my watch band, my smartwatch band, epilepsy and no Narcan. And then I got the necklace with all of that all again. So tripled up.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, I have a bracelet too. I stopped wearing it though as a bracelet. Like I said, with my uh collecting the pocket watches and everything, I turned it into a chain for one of my watches. But yeah, I still have, the little piece of metal with my info on it if anybody decides to check it. Sometimes I don't know about how you guys feel about it, but sometimes I feel like it's pointless. Like if you're having like a grand mal and your body's like flopping around and nobody around you knows what seizures are, like is that person really like is the first thing they're gonna do like go and check your wrist, or in my case like the little watch chain or something for your information? Like I almost feel like it's kind of pointless. Like obviously it can't hurt having one, but sometimes I feel like it's just not the most, like I wish there was something a little more, like I almost want to have just like always wear a hat like that says I have seizures, be careful, or something a little more blatant than just like a tiny little like piece of metal or something, right?
Yeah, like a jersey that says epilepsy on the back.
Exactly, right? Like yeah. some
Yeah,
some
even if it's like
something
a
odd.
1 in 100 chance that it actually makes a difference, I'd rather have that 1 in 100 odds added in my favor,
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I
I'll
said,
go through the 99 Narcan zaps if, the 100th one will spare me, by wearing the band. I'm gonna wear the band, you know.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, I mean, it's better than nothing, but sometimes it's
Yeah,
just like
no,
one
I'm
extra.
100% with you. And I think that pocket watch uh chain idea thing sounds like a pretty cool little repurpose. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, because if you've seen like you see like old school pictures, sometimes guys have like the double Albert chain, one on each, like in each vest pocket. So one side I have, my watch that I always carry, and then the other side I'll have the little I don't know what you want to call it, the little metal piece of the bracelet that has all the info on it. I'll just have it in
The
the
little
other on the
medallion.
yeah. I'll have it on the other chain in my other pocket, so at least it's still, on me, and maybe somebody will check it, or once a paramedic arrives or something like that, they'll know to look for it, or maybe I'll be
Paramedics are more likely to
flopping
see
around
it
and
because
it'll come out of my pocket while I'm
they yeah, paramedics are trained to look for that the medical caduceus symbol, so they're more likely to.
Mhm.
But yeah, the average person on the sidewalk sees you there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking,
I don't know
since
if
you're
I
wearing,
would give it a coin toss or a little less than a coin toss odds that they would see it there, but sorry to interrupt here.
oh no, it's all good. I was just gonna say, I know you lifted it up. You were wearing a necklace as well as the bracelet. Is that something that paramedics like look for? I guess more like first, and then they see that, and then they'll check the bracelet. Like, would it be a good idea if I had the necklace too? Do you think, or
I mean, adding the necklace too will just give you that much extra
a
chance.
little bit better odds, right?
I don't
Yeah.
know if they look for one first, but I figured that having the two of them, plus the size of the little symbol thing on the medallion here is a bit
Mhm.
bigger than what's on the watch or and the wristband here. So I try to make a note to wear it on the outside of my t-shirt there, and it's pretty noticeable that way.
Another thing I was gonna show it on a couple of the chains that I have. I don't know if you can see like little fobs, the little coins
Yeah,
that go on them. Um, I have those, and I've been thinking about like they're just like vintage, old school kind of merchandise tokens. This is one from actually a store that my great grandfather used to own. But anyway,
it's pretty cool.
instead of wearing this, putting like what you have on your necklace like on it, so that way it's always on the outside of my of my vest, of my chest, and that way if I do have one out in the middle of nowhere that or where nobody knows what I have or what's going on, they can instantly
Out in
see
the
that
wild.
plus the
Yeah.
bracelet. So yeah, I've been thinking about doing that. So I was just wondering if you've had an experience where it's helped you out, or if anybody anybody else here on the chat where it's actually been something that's been helpful, or whether it's just an extra piece of jewelry you have to freaking worry about getting ready in the morning.
I mean, in my case, the necklace is a new addition. I don't know about anybody else here.
Okay.
No,
You do you wear any of those Pookie? Do you have anything to add?
nope. I was gonna move on.
Yeah, what's the next topic?
I forgot. No, but
Yeah, let's get back on it.
that was pretty long. I guess I'll read it anyway. 22-year-old female being offered a possible seizure-free life, but my family thinks I don't need it. I've been living with epilepsy for 20 years, and recently, after long evaluations and hospital visits, I was offered a chance at surgery, a chance to possibly live seizure-free life. But my family is hesitant. They don't want me to take risks. They believe my condition is manageable, which is in quotes. That is not bad enough for surgery, and they try to convince me I can adapt. I get it. They're scared for me, but it hurts. Because to me, this isn't just about managing, which is in quotes. This isn't about managing my epilepsy. I want to live, just not just cope. A seizure-free life for me would mean freedom to walk alone, go out without fear, to not feel like a burden, driving, not needing someone to take me, always rely on a cab. I want that independence, confidence that won't suddenly blank out in public or during an interview. Peace, not having my plan, not having to plan my entire life around meds, side effects, triggers, and looming fear of next seizure. I've shaped every decision in my life around epilepsy. The friends I've lost, the places I avoided, the dreams I downscaled. I have no motivation anymore and I am tired. My family asks me, everyone faces circumstances when making life decisions. Why is epilepsy on top of circumstances list? I honestly didn't know how to answer that. No words. So I'm asking others here, especially those who've had epilepsy surgery or thought about it. What did the chance of being seizure free mean to you? How did you find words to explain to the people around you? Please help me express myself to my family more clearly. First comment says, I had a surgery a few months ago. That's after a few years of having focal impaired awareness seizures about once a week. My main motivation was that if surgery stopped having seizures, then it would ease the worsening of my cognitive problems and memory, etc. But my cognitive problems post-surgery are worse and still have seizures about once a week. So I wish I hadn't done it. I was told that there was a 30% chance of that happening. I had a left anteromedial temporal lobe resection. I haven't had any surgeries to do with epilepsy. I think the only person here would be Kate, right?
That left anteromedial temporal resection is where they go into the temporal lobe. So it's not like the outside part of that left, like your left side of the brain. It's a part of inside it. So it sounds like it's just a way of describing that it was like a really small resection. And from what I understand, you never know if those work for, months after, because then you have to get back on track and still take meds. And time will tell if resections ever actually do the trick.
How did you
A
get
lot of people aren't
family?
eligible to.
I think he said, how does he get his family to help me express my family more clearly? Because his family, they don't agree with getting surgery.
Well, when it comes to family, let them know that this is just another try. It's not going to change much, especially at first. But let them know. I mean, if you're going to need them to understand you're not getting your license back and not probably going to be able to go back to work if, you're that far gone. But see, make sure they understand what they need to see. That this is not a one and done kind of fix for you. But still be optimistic.
The comment here, it says, my son had a resection 2 weeks ago. He did well. It was his surgeon even cleared him for light work next week. It was his decision and I'm hopeful. He was lucky to be a candidate and there was a lot of testing. Congrats to you. Another one here says, I occasionally find myself unable to process words, aphasia. Since I had my first seizure in late 2023, I found myself occasionally being unable to talk for a few seconds for no explainable reason. I'm aware that it's happening. I can sort of still read. I can still reason and have full motor skills, but I just become incapable of coherent speech. It only lasts a few seconds, and I can usually play it off without anyone noticing, I think. But it's caught me caught me off guard a few times when it's clearly obvious to others around me. I've been seizure free for over a year, but this still keeps happening. I'm thinking that this could be aphasia caused by some lasting brain damage from the seizures, but I only discovered that a few minutes ago, so I'm not sure. My meds are Keppra and lamotrigine, if that's relevant. I've done some brief additional research, and it can be focal seizures in parietal lobe and in the parietal lobe, but most of the descriptions I've read still don't quite match the experience. I'm convinced now that it is aphasia, as Wikipedia, a reliable source, says that the use of formulaic expressions in everyday communication is often preserved, which matches my experience. First comment says, I have this.
Real quick, It's pronounced the parietal lobe,
Okay,
just
parietal lobe.
not to be, I don't know, just, I guess.
Thank you,
Yeah.
because someone else might
To,
need to know that, but I was saying it
to,
wrong.
yes, I guess it is to be that guy.
It is. I was gonna ask you a few other ones. I was waiting for you to tune in, like you knew what I was saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can ask me anything now. You got my attention.
What was the word? We'll come back to it. I'll find out the word, but thoughts on that?
Sure. Um,
Kind of forgot what it was.
yeah, well, I mean, I was following along, but I wanted to make sure I remembered that pronunciation at the tail end. Um, Too much to keep track of the question up to that point. So, I don't know.
I'm basically asking, could they have aphasia?
Oh,
They're unable to
aphasia,
process
aphasia.
words.
Yeah. Isn't aphasia just the name for the symptom of like episodic trouble finding a word?
Trouble
Like,
trouble communicating.
yeah, like a lot of us
Yeah, it's
have
just a
had,
disorder that means you can't communicate good.
yeah, it's not its own big diagnosis, is it?
There's a lot of different causes and severity, wide range and severity. So it's
Right,
like you
but
said, a symptom
it's a
of
symptom.
aphasia is a
Yeah.
symptom of something.
So
It's a disorder.
yeah, so what was described sounds like the symptom called aphasia to me, at least. So there's that.
Yeah, the definition here says aphasia is a communication disorder that results from brain damage in areas of the brain responsible for, often due to, a stroke or traumatic brain injury. It affects a person's ability to speak, write, and understand both spoken and written language. Aphasia can occur suddenly and is not a reflection of a person's intelligence. Rather, it impairs language and expression and comprehension. Treatment typically involves speech and language therapy to help individuals regain their communication skills. This person also said that they believe that they can do everything besides the talking. So basically, that's what it sounds like. I can do everything besides the talking part. I don't think
Hey, if
that's
they narrowed
aphasia.
it down to just one thing they're having trouble with, then maybe speech therapy is the way to go. See what they can figure out doing something like that.
Does birth control cause epilepsy? Hi, ladies. I'm wondering if anyone has started having their seizures after getting on birth control. I have the Nexplanon birth control implant, and it was in my arm on June 12th, 2024. I had my first grand mal seizure in life on June 23rd, 2024. Only 13 days apart. I barely realized it today when I had looked at my card with the date I got it inserted. I have had 3 grand mal seizures since. Since middle school, I have always had a weird feeling, as what I would call them. Deja vu, stomach dropping, getting hot, feeling like I'm floating, etc. I didn't know what they were until my neurologist told me that they were auras. I had never known I had epilepsy until my first grand mal seizure last year. I'm turning 23 years this. I am turning 23 years this year, and before my first seizure, my auras never were really a problem for me. I always just thought it felt like an out of body experience that only lasted for 10 to 15 seconds. Please let me know if this is anything that's happened to anyone else before after getting Nexplanon, birth control, or just birth control in general. Hey, Brandon, when's the
Any
last time you
hormonal
had
birth
birth
control.
Go ahead,
Yeah, guys
Brandon.
know nothing about hormonal birth control, and anybody that's catamenial, that's gonna set it off. So I don't know if those 3 tonic-clonics you mentioned were just after the insertion, but that's a pretty obvious indication that the hormones on that birth control is probably what's triggering the seizures. So it's not a good idea to go to the neurologist saying I found what's causing my seizures, but let them know that it's definitely a trigger, and hopefully any neurologist who's paying attention will take that into account.
You know about birth control?
Oh, I know all about it. I just expert over here, man. No.
I thought so. That's exactly what came to my
You take
mind.
one look at me and you know, right?
Right. You ever took the Nexplanon?
I don't even know what that is. I feel like I
It's
would
got
just
to be
have trouble.
inserted in you.
Yeah, I'm all good. Wait, oh, is that a birth control thing?
Yeah.
It's got to be inserted in you, yes.
I heard they have something for men. To, I don't know. I haven't exactly looked it up, but I heard someone say it before. Birth control for us. I'm not gonna do it, but I heard about it.
I feel like I'd be interested in that actually. I don't know how it would affect like me hormonally, you know? But because obviously like that's a huge reason why a lot of women don't take birth control pills because it just fucks with their hormones. Um, and I don't know, like for men, I feel like it would definitely lead to like mood swings or something. I just don't know if it would be a pill or insertion or I don't know. But hey, if it means that I'm making it safer for like for my girlfriend, I'm happy with that. So
New
Okay.
non-hormonal birth control method involving a hydrogel implant called Atom, developed by Contraline, currently being tested in clinical trials. It's an implant designed to be long-lasting, reversible, and minimally, they call it minimally invasive, but that diagram looks pretty
where does it say it
invasive.
goes?
Well, it's injecting hydrogel into the vas deferens, the tubes that transport the sperm, to block the sperm from exiting the body.
Nope, 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 nope.
It just builds up. What? Where does it go? Yeah.
Nope.
I don't know.
You
If
guys
you're
want a
willing to
great
try it, let us know.
you guys want a great birth control? Work work at an elementary school for a few months. That'll be a perfect
I
birth control.
work with 1,500 different kids a year. It's not about the birth control in terms of like
I know
wanting
I'm
versus not.
joking.
No, I know. I'm
I
just
know
saying.
I know the physicalities of how babies work, man. I'm just joking around.
As the only person in this chat who has had stitches down there,
Ooh, yeah, no,
I want
no,
it.
I got something else for you though. It says male birth control pill, a new oral contraceptive, which dimethendrolone, Dimethandrolone.
got
Don't
me on
know.
that one.
Looks like dimethendrolone. Yeah, has shown potential in clinical trials by suppressing hormones to stimulate sperm production. Okay. You have
So that one is
sperm.
hormonal.
So you have
Yeah, that's
sperm or no
definitely hormonal.
semen, basically. It says so you can share the responsibility in family planning. Oh wow.
That sounds like them saying it's not effective. If she still has to,
Yeah.
then yeah.
It says, does having epilepsy make you an abusive person? Hello all, I'm wondering if in all of your experience of having epilepsy makes people abusive. For example, if someone says I was having a seizure and took their keys and phone and wouldn't give it back to them, so they held me down and punched them. Another example I could give is they criticized me every day, so I had seizures at them and then said bad things. or they promised me they wouldn't come over but kept showing up, so I had a bunch of seizures and attacked them, etc. Asking a friend. This person was not, I was just asking for a friend. This person was not taking any medicine for their uncontrolled seizures, but they were taking lots of ketamine and smoking marijuana on and off. I want to ask this question out to genuine curiosity. I'm trying to imply that epilepsy can make people abusive, but there is this person I know that does these things and genuinely want to know if these actions are part of managing the disease. Thank you to everyone for your responses. I feel like these answers have given me a lot of clarity. That's some edit. It hasn't made me abusive, not that I've known of. I've never really been a confrontational person.
But
Man,
you've also,
I mean,
but you've never done ketamine as well, correct?
I can't remember.
That was
Not that
me
I
just
remember.
pointing out that this person has a lot of like things that are gonna affect their mood going on.
Yeah, ketamine. I doubt I've done it. I've heard of it, but don't plan on it. Yeah,
I
heard
brought up
something.
I mentioned my story earlier, where I woke up after a procedure and I had started swinging at a couple of the nurses that were there because the anesthesia messed with my head. But that was something else. I don't know if I actually had a seizure or not. But there was also a thread on posted on Reddit there like within the last couple weeks or so. Somebody asked if they had been violent or combative or whatever after waking up after a seizure. And I've definitely done that a few times, like where you like deny having a seizure or you get mad at the people around you for trying to help you out. I don't know if anyone else has done that where I've just been like, I'm fine, leave me the alone, like go away, type of thing when it's clear I'm laying on the ground, I got, scrapes or blood or something, like I've clearly had a seizure, I clearly need help, but I'm just combative and denial and stuff like that. And that's not normally the type of person I would be if I wasn't having a seizure. So I don't know if anyone else has had like experiences like that.
Yeah,
I think that my medications for the seizures have done more to cause me to misbehave than the seizures themselves have. But
I feel you.
my focals don't really involve much more than some odd physical sensations at the time. So I don't, go engaging in any sort of complicated behaviors. Um, so yeah, it's mostly my meds.
Somebody here is talking
Yep.
about mushrooms, saying I'm in a school. Oh, go ahead, James.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I feel like it's more of the the meds or directly right after a seizure. It's not like something that normally goes on. I don't normally get combative. And even sometimes when I do have a seizure, obviously we all know how it feels. You might have hit your head hurts, your muscles are sore, you don't even feel like getting up off the floor, let alone being combative with somebody, right? But sometimes you don't control, you can't control what you think or say. And what I try and tell people with other people with epilepsy is when your mind is not being who you truly are. And so that's going to continue for a few minutes after the actual seizure happens, and the people around you should know that. And you should also try and think about that in your head. And that's what I've at least tried to tell myself when I feel guilty about, lashing out at, a loved one that's sitting there trying to care about me. And then all I'm doing is saying, F you, F this, go away, go to hell. All that person's trying to do is help me. And all I'm doing is being a jerk to them. And then you feel guilty about it, 30 minutes later. But clearly that's not the real human that you are, right?
Yeah, I thought about it hours later. I was at the emergency room thinking, damn, I just really talked to this person like that. Been there. Yeah, they said stop apologizing. I understand you were out of it.
So this thing here about mushrooms saying I'm in a school for horticulture and my classmates brought up lion's mane for my cognitive issues. Look that up, and that's a kind of mushroom with like medicinal qualities.
Also, they're
For one
fucking-
for epilepsy. What do you say?
I said also they're fucking delicious.
It's saying apparently it helps memory, anxiety, depression, hyperactivity, and decreases brain fog. I struggle with these issues. I know a lot of other epileptics do. Has anyone ever tried it and had luck? I'm seeing mostly positive results. Interested in trying other herbs and fungi. So we've got Brandon's take saying it's yummy, and that's the first comment. I don't know.
They
Try it. I
are
like the B12 too.
they
What
are
you got?
one of the easier mushrooms to DIY.
Forage.
Huh?
To forage?
No, to grow.
Damn. I was hoping you were going to say forage. Well, it depends on where you are.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. It depends
Anyway.
on your region. I don't think that they are growing wild around in my local area, but um there are a lot of mushrooms that are really easy to grow yourself, and you can, well, not necessarily really easy. I don't want to like oversell it, but yeah, if you can create a small contained environment and sterilize it, then with a small amount of material. I've heard of people using those like Uncle Ben's instant rice bags. You can just, I mean, they're sterile inside of there just as they come, and you can get a syringe of the spores and inject it into those bags and seal it off, and the mushrooms will colonize those, and the 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 mycelium will colonize those. The mushrooms themselves are the reproductive organs of the mycelium, which is the actual organism itself. So you incubate those little Uncle Ben's things, and after a while, when they're ready, you cut the side open and they just start pumping out these gigantic mushrooms. It's crazy because the mushrooms themselves are like 90% water, so they'll look huge, and it looks like there's just all of this, I mean, all of these mushrooms coming out of nowhere, just this tiny little bag, pumping out so much more material than it seems. But um, yeah, it's a pretty fun project if you have the space to set aside like a little bucket that you can keep away from light for a while, and then provide a little bit of light up at the top. And yeah, lion's mane is one of the easier ones to grow.
That was a very
Last
good explanation.
last comment on the mushroom subject, I guess, because I think we've all agreed that lion's manes are healthy and good for us. I just wanted to throw this out. When I worked at Whole Foods, we were like getting rid of a bunch of like these mushroom growing kits. And since I worked in the produce department, they were just like, "Oh, Brandon, you want to take one of these?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah!" Never got around to it. Literally stuck it in a drawer, um, for like a year. Came back and opened up the package, and it was full of fully grown mushrooms that had just grown on their own. I threw the whole thing away because there was no way I was eating those. But yeah, they literally require so little work. If you get like a pre-made grow kit, you can leave them in a drawer and they'll grow.
Yeah, the hardest thing is avoiding contamination because essentially you're just producing the ideal conditions for whatever um, organic material to rot. You just got to keep all of the bad rotting stuff away. Um, but yeah, you just leave it somewhere dark and the dampness will do its thing, the spores. It's a cool little biology project if someone is inclined to work on some science fair projects.
We can talk more about it another day, that's for sure. Because I feel like you and I like mushrooms, and we're gonna have some talks about that. But yeah, I don't know. Anybody else have anything else to say on the lion's mane topic, or Pookie, you got something else?
Sounds interesting. It does. I'll get back to you later. I want to be part of that conversation Brandon was talking about.
Yeah.
All right, what you got next? What's cooking?
It's hot as hell. But yeah, it says not epileptic, but traumatized by a fit. Can I talk about it? An unexpected seizure can be scary. Um, for been witness to a few, but today I was the first responder. I'm attending an SIA course, and on Monday we did a first aid. Saturday morning, a guy having an unprovoked seizure that came out of nowhere with no warning sign or history. I responded as best as I could. I keep replaying the first 10 seconds of his seizure. The bright red muscles tighten, groaning and foaming seizure in my head. I feel like I'm traumatized by what I experienced, but I feel so stupid for it. I didn't have a seizure. I didn't have a seizure. The bad thing didn't happen to me. I'm only attending the security and first aid course. Who wants to talk about it with me? Why do I feel so scared and emotional? Should I avoid being responsible for a fit? Am I not cut out to protect people?
You can't avoid being responsible for the fit, it sounds like. That's the part that stuck out to me.
Yeah.
So were they in I'm a little confused. Were they in a first aid course and somebody there actually started having a seizure?
So it sounds like unprovoked.
Well, I mean, they definitely weren't part of it. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a reminder to us, to me at least. I don't want to speak for all of us, but that um it's not just us living with epilepsy. Like we are the ones having the seizures, but there's a lot of people around us who are impacted by it, and some impacted in very significant ways. So, um, yeah, I
Awareness.
don't know if somebody else has something to add. I feel like I want to think about this some more.
No, makes sense. I mean, somebody was at the ER course, something happened, and they don't take responsibility or automatically jump to conclusions thinking they caused somebody else's seizure, but still be aware of what happened, ask questions, and learn. Use that opportunity, use that experience as an opportunity to learn something. This person's asking, can I go on amusement park rides? August 30th,
Oh,
21. I got hit by a car, and because of that, I have epilepsy. There's this fair in town I've missed out on since the accident. I really want to go this year because I feel like my brain injury has had enough time to heal. But do people with epilepsy go on rides? I'm new to having epilepsy, so I don't know. And then they put in parentheses, I just had a seizure yesterday. Go ahead, Mark.
just had a seizure yesterday is a little detail that I had. But I love roller coasters, and I loved roller coasters before I got my epilepsy diagnosis. And epilepsy has taken driving away from me, so I'm not going to let it take my roller coaster rides away from me. Um, I um, I have a SeaWorld annual pass to go with my sister, and they've got, in my opinion, right now, they've got the best roller coasters of the Central Florida area amusement parks. So yeah, it's really cool. Um, I could expound the virtues of SeaWorld's roller coasters, but um, it depends on the amusement park. Some of them get a little sketchy sometimes. So, um, that and just having a seizure just recently, um, are there going to be companion riders or just friends coming with who have a rescue med available? That's something that I would consider, offsetting any of the other dangers if somebody can be right there. But in my experience, I haven't found it to be a trigger or anything close to a trigger. So I say go for it with caveats that, as long as you do it with responsibility. Um, I think amusement park rides are great.
Every
Yeah, if I
comment
could,
is saying the same thing. Yeah, go ahead, Jane.
I was gonna say if I could add into that, like I said, I live in California. My family and I were complete Disney heads. Go a few times a year. Um, I go on the roller coasters. Any roller coaster, just anything that does like a full loop upside down, I always get motion sickness. And this was like even as a kid, like way before I actually had my first seizure. But anything else is fine. Like I can do like the spinny type of stuff. I've never had like a ride induce one. One time while I was down there on vacation with my family, I did have one overnight while we were in the hotel. So about the next, half a day or so, obviously I just laid in the hotel room, watched TV, and rested up. But I did go join them in the rest of the evening. Um, and sure, my body and stuff was a little sore, had a bit of a headache, but I still went on a couple of rides, and nothing else affected me. I realize everybody has different reactions to meds and stuff like that, but at least that's my experience with having a seizure and then going on a roller coaster only half a day, half a day later or something, it didn't re-trigger, another one at least. So
Hey James, just so you know, there's a reaction down here or next to the react button. You might have one on the toolbar that says raise hand, and that's an easy way. If you think of something to contribute, that I would give you the space right after I finish reading for it. So a lot of people in the comments, one of them even says zip lining was so fun. I've gone zip lining and skydiving.
Oh.
None of these comments are suggesting that you hold back.
I was gonna say my only advice would be just don't go by yourself. Like, like I said, when I do it, it's like a family vacation, or, I'll be down there with I live in Northern California, obviously that's in Southern, but, I'll be there with a friend or something, but somebody that knows what the heck is going on. Like, I wouldn't, go and do it by myself, or at least with somebody that doesn't know my situation. Just
Yeah, that's important.
the buddy system, right?
Yeah, it's definitely important to have somebody with you that has the rescue meds and knows how to use them. Okay. This one is saying, how much does life change? I'm 21. About 3 weeks ago, I had a seizure. Don't know how long I was convulsing for, but when the paramedics came, they thought it was an overdose. I smoked pot every day, consumed MDMA occasionally, did not have any of it before the first seizure. Tonight, I'm going for a brain scan. I don't know anyone around me that has had seizures or ever had convulsions. What I'm really asking is, will I have to stop everything eventually, or does it depend on what the doctors are going to tell me? Well, it sounds like you might have to look into a different strain, but probably not drop the weed.
Talk to the doctor.
Probably.
Doctor could also say what's good for you.
Maybe
I
don't
smoke,
keep
I
going with
vape.
the MDMA.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
probably not a good idea to keep
We cut that one.
rolling like that. I don't know. I'm a little conflicted because I feel like it has a lot of therapeutic value for depression and certain, certain relational therapy, but that's
But
a
at
very
that same
different
point,
context.
if it can help with those things, that means it's affecting your brain. So that's something I don't want to experiment with when my brain is already sort of on it.
I don't know. I'm the type who's maybe a little too comfortable with self-experimentation for my own good, but I don't know. I've told the story about my mom saying, "Don't touch the burner, Mark, it's hot," when I was 3 years old, right? And I
And you put
reach
your
up,
hand on it, didn't you?
but no, just my
Oh,
finger, but I
just your
reached
finger,
up and
right?
touched it because the burner wasn't glowing red, so obviously it couldn't have been hot. But I don't know. Why what reason would she have had to lie to me? I don't know. It haunts me to this day, clearly.
But you'll never
But
forget, listen to mom.
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. See if like
Mama knows best.
Poogie didn't have that opportunity when he burned his arm because his mom was not around. So
Unfortunately, not.
she would have grabbed you so fast.
Very much
But
likely.
the thing is, I've had extremely positive therapeutic experiences with psychedelics in the like overlapping in a time frame where I had been having panic attacks that I now know in retrospect were um, my focal seizures. Um, and I didn't have any problems with them. And of course, that really just means I didn't have problems then, not that there will be no problems, but um, in some ways, I feel like there's a need to weigh the two, weigh the risk of a seizure against the benefit of the single most effective depression treatment I've ever used. And depression steals a person's life in a way that I don't know, that nothing else does. So
Did you ever bring results of that to a doctor and see how they feel about that never conflicting with the seizures?
I don't know. I hesitate to because it's not, I don't live in California where it's a lot more
Accepted.
yeah, accepted, appreciated, even legalized in certain parts of the state. Um, so I don't know. I have mentioned asked about the possibility of um, ketamine treatment for depression. I know that that's a bit more accepted than the serotonergic uh, psychedelics like the psilocybin and LSD. Honestly, the LSD is stimulating in a way that I think I wouldn't feel comfortable necessarily trying it, but subjectively, the experience of psilocybin mushrooms especially in a therapeutic setting where I'm not like going out and intentionally trying to overstimulate everything, just in a quiet place, blindfold on some music and some headphones or even just earplugs and the blindfold and just um meditate on stuff that's not a seizure inducing environment. It's, separating the medication from it, It's not like going out to a rave and kind of seeking out overstimulation. But I don't know. I kind of I'm not and
And honestly, I'm sorry to hear that because that's crazy. Literally, less than 3 miles from me is a dispensary. I got gummies. I smoke bud. I got a vape. Like this shit is just completely. I can literally go to the store and be back in like 20 minutes right now here in California and get any form of this stuff, and it's not a big deal. And in other states, like
just
you're talking, and in other states, like you're talking about, it's you can end up in fucking prison for it, for something that could help you out. Like
yeah.
it seems crazy, to me that I could just sit here and like, do this real quick, and it would be illegal for you, a 100 miles from me or something, or 500 miles from me or whatever we are from each other.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean,
that's
I don't
crazy.
know. Personally, I think any medical therapeutic benefits of any of it aside, whatever anybody thinks about it, just historically, I think prohibition doesn't work. Just look back at history. It just hands the market over to violent individuals. Like I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like
when
now
some of
here in
those are,
California, like cigarettes and tobacco have more like restrictions and warnings and everything on it than marijuana does. But
and
tobacco
those
has
are
way
actually
less.
seizure
It has
inducing.
yeah,
Those are stimulating.
but yeah, but what I was gonna say is it has like way less of like a stigmatism on it. Tobacco does, versus marijuana. Like, you just see somebody on walking down the street smoking a cigarette and you're like, okay, they smoke. But if you see somebody smoking a joint, you're just like, oh my God, they're a hooligan or, something,
Yeah, out in the
is like how I
open.
feel, how I feel it's looked at least. But
But I was gonna say about you said it was like mushrooms were illegal in certain places in California. Psychedelics were illegal all over California.
The
You know,
entire state.
entire state.
oh, are they okay? I've never really looked into it. I wasn't sure on the details, and obviously, like every year, stuff is changing. Obviously, marijuana's been opened up a hell of a lot more the last couple of years too, even here. So,
As long as it's a drug that you don't have to cook up, mix, put extra stuff in it, pretty good.
as long
But
as it's not on Breaking Bad or
yeah, as long as you don't
Yeah.
have
I've got to
as
go with
baking soda, none of that stuff, you good.
Hey, real quick, guys, I'm going to dinner with my parents. So I'll see y'all later. I'll check back in a couple hours if y'all are here. I'll say what's up. But if not, I hope everybody has a good night. All right.
Right.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Um, yeah, we got a spot here in Oakland. They got a church who sells mushrooms, called Zydor. Pretty much has everything you need. They can what's it called? They have like the mushrooms that are good for certain stuff, migraines, epilepsy. Well, not epilepsy, seizures, they say.
Okay.
Seizures, what's it called?
So
Yeah.
they try to pass it off as like the bud tenders do, like this strain will make
Yes.
you creative in this such and such way, and this will be. I never really bought into any of that. I feel like, maybe some of them are a little bit more couch lock sleep inducing than others, but and so for mushrooms, I think that sounds really ridiculous. Migraines, well, I don't know. Maybe now that I think about it, the particular alkaloids in them, I don't know. Do they sell spore syringes?
I don't know. I just went in to specifically look at mushrooms. Let me just tell you all of them what they're for. Um, I don't exactly remember all of them.
If you hypothetically, if your friend happens to be looking for, you know, um, an experience, the strain to look for, the hot shit right now is called um, APE, albino penis envy. Um, they look like big chunky
I really wish that
dildos.
you hadn't elaborated. I really wish you had just left it at the acronym.
Oh,
No, it's way funnier, but I just was not expecting that.
Yeah, just let
yeah.
him follow up and see what other after Chunky what he says.
They look like big chunky white dildos, and they're almost they tend to be almost twice as strong as most of the other like average, not selectively bred strains tend to be. But
So the white dildos are the big good ones. Got it.
the big one,
Kate's
yeah, the
losing it.
white
Kate's
guys.
losing her mind right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the inverse of the normal. The white guys got the big ones.
We can move past that. We can move past this. It's like when we were talking about anal the other day and people were joining and going, what the
I
fuck?
mean,
And it was like, no, we're talking about shooting medicine up your ass. It's totally fine.
yeah, it's
Okay, so
doctor recommended.
yeah, I got a prescription for this shit.
But
I
yeah,
wonder what departments are looking at you with it, like giving it to you.
mushroom.
Sign
Huh?
here. They give you the disclaimer to sign your name here. Yeah.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.